It is Matt Mosley of the Matt Mosley Show, the world famous show. Comes to you every day at 1 o'clock. Going to go with a kind of an abbreviated Good Friday show. A lot of folks taking today off. Good Christian holiday. And Kev, I didn't know you had your okay. There you go. And on the third day, and of course, we'll celebrate Easter, and that'll be great. That's not the graphic. You kind of surprised me with that one. Okay. Some of us had services last night. We've always had at our church a Monday, Thursday service. I think we've now changed it to Friday for some reason. And so anyway, that's right. Good Friday. And obviously we know what is coming, but we also today think about the ultimate sacrifice. Those of us who are Christians, and we're obviously respectful of what everybody is, but it's a huge time of the year, and it just happens to coincide with the Final Four, women's and men. Today on this Good Friday, I am going to leave this show a little early, and we will race out to Globe Life, and I'll be at Rangers opening day as the Rangers in Reds get it going. Rangers have started the season 4-2, did come up short yesterday, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I mean, I'm going to go back real quick to the Rangers Twitter, because I like when they put opening. Now this is, obviously they're 4-2. This is, but this is the home opener, and that's really the official start of baseball for everybody, at least with your local team is playing. And as I say this, about an hour ago, I got the lineup for today, and Nimmo leading off, Wyatt Langford hitting second, Seager third, Jake Berger is batting cleanup. Jock Peterson, does he have a hit yet? Maybe he does. I thought he's got an RBI. He's 0 for his first whatever last time I looked, but maybe he's gotten a hit at some point. I don't know. I would not keep plugging him in at fifth, but maybe when we weren't looking, Peterson actually had a hit. Josh Smith, Josh Young, Evan Carter in center, and then Jansen catching and batting ninth. And this is, let's see. Oh, Gore. Oh, nice, Kev. I get to see Mackenzie Gore with the home opener. That's kind of cool how that ended up.
Is that Frank Gore's cousin?
Okay, all right. We're doing. No, it's not.
Okay,
and you will not see much of a resemblance in those two. But this is someone, Kev, who, I mean, just an unbelievable prospect. And I think the Rangers, this is going to be fun because he has the ability. I would say when you go around the majors, other than maybe the Dodgers, who always are stacked because they have more money than everybody else. But you'd have to be hard pressed to find a better third pitcher in a rotation. And, depending on what happens with DeGrom this season and Nasty Nate and, the rotation, people can get moved up or down or whatever. But to see Gore on the mound, what a great opportunity for a young pitcher to have with a packed house. Now, Kev, it's a little bit gray and overcast in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I will let you know that I was rooting for a roof open situation today because it's pretty. It's like 70, 75. So beautiful weather, but they're going to close it. And I guess if it's any threatening skies or anything where they
might. A little ironic since just 2 days ago they announced that the roof was going to be open for the entire season.
Which turned out to be an April Fool's joke. But yeah, that is funny to think about. They put that out there. Now, what we're going to do for you in our special abbreviated Mosley show, because we could not, even on this high holiday in the Christian faith. And, even colleges, I heard Arkansas was having, what are you doing, Arkansas? I mean, can we not get the kids a day off? I mean, it's Good Friday. I mean, the kids are off of high school, the local high schools and everything. Baylor obviously would be off today. Texas A&M state schools have to do it in an interesting way. I think, Kevin, they called it like a reading day. Like it was a day for, they didn't quite just give them, just a pure day off, but they all blew out of there on Thursday because Friday, Good Friday at Texas A&M is a reading day.
It's a day of reflection.
Yeah. I don't think that's what they were referencing. I think they were trying to say they should be in their school books. Do they even have? I don't even think they have those anymore.
No.
We used to have to go down to the bookstore and get in line and spend all the money on the books. That's one thing, by the way. I bet that the price hasn't changed that much on those because textbooks in college, those things were, and then you could go to maybe like a used place and get some of those, but I bet that's about the same. And I don't even know. Again, I think some of these classes don't even have textbooks. But boy, that was a big thing. Go to college, you got to get your books. Got to go down there to the bookstore or go over to Spirit Shop at Baylor. They might sell some books over there at the Spirit Shop. That was off like kind of across 8th over there down where Flash used to be. Now the Creamery is over there, and the big coffee shop on campus. My friend Joe Mashburn owned and started all those years ago. All right. The Mosley Show continues, and it is time. We're going to have Calvin Watkins, who's fresh back from the owners' meetings in Phoenix. We had Nick Harris yesterday for Star Telegram. Calvin Watkins, my longtime buddy from the Dallas Morning News, will join us at about 1:30, and then we will say goodbye on this special Good Friday after that. Kevin, we're so appreciative of Central National Bank. We're appreciative of Schmaltz. I'll throw out a Final Four Schmaltz's trivia question today. But thank you, Schmaltz's. Thank you for being the greatest sandwich shop in all of Central Texas. Thank you, Britt Tolley. The official retirement of Nelson Rue, the founder, first owner of Schmaltz's. There was some kind of sandwich shop, I think, that he bought in the early 80s, but he's really he's the man. He's the man who's done that since, I say early 80s. You might have to go back to like 1975 or something like that. But Nelson Rue got a loan from the bank. I think First National Bank, back then C&B. I think in later years he would have used C&B, Central National Bank. But back then he went to First National Bank in Waco and got himself a loan and opened and bought the sandwich shop. And it would become the one there in downtown Waco, and then the one out in Valley Mills. Thank you, Schmaltz. Kevin, do we have the Schmaltz? Do we have the beautiful? Oh, there it is. There it is. Love seeing it. Love the script. It does make me hungry though when I see that Schmaltz's logo jump up there. All right, Kevin, back to the Central National Bank, our homeland. And then Lake Waco Golf Club. Thank you. Thank you very much. Cherry Johnson, Siegmund James. I talked about it, Kevin. Scott James named to America's top 100 lawyers list. Very, very distinctive, distinguished list that is. Scott's done a great job. He's out there winning those verdicts. The man, when he's not doing that, he's, participating in triathlons. He's got a very active family, the James family. Jeff, Scott, and David, great. And then Barry and Linda, their parents, an incredible family out of Palestine, Texas. So you've got, you've got how many? You got 2 dentists in the family. And then you've got a lawyer. And then I think David's kind of a financial guy. Jeff, the older brother, is a dentist. So you got all kinds of things covered. All right. You got some great wives in there. Leanne, the former Leanne Guest, big time attorney in Waco, who I went to college with as well. All right. Who's married to Scott, by the way. And then they have a daughter who's a big time athlete out there at Midway. Ainsley is her name. And Jonah, big time KOT. All right, at Baylor. There's the family breakdown of the Jameses. If you're listening to us, tell the James family we gave them a big time shout out today. And also use some of you will be watching us on Twitter today and all that good stuff. Go ahead and hit subscribe on the YouTube. Now, Kev, with no further, let's get straight to the Final Four. I mean, this is big, and let's do some Campus Confidential. And this is when Kevin lives for this. Overnight he was just kind of putting it all together. He was getting ready. He was thinking of his favorite coffee houses, his favorite restaurants there in Indianapolis. Wants to help out anybody who might be watching us from those places or might be have some interest in all that. Kev, I just, from a breaking news standpoint, I've sent you a bunch of, whatever, little news conferences, and use whatever you want to use. But I thought that was pretty impressive that Illinois came out for its Final Four practice. And those are open practices. And I guess it's only from Champaign and from, where a big part of their fan base is in Chicago. I think it's about, 2 or 3 hours away. And Kev, that Illinois fan base kind of reminds me of Nebraska. They have shown up in a big way. And those kids came out for practice, and the Illinois people had that place. I mean, I'm not saying it was like full, but the lower bowl, they were crowded in there at a practice. We're talking about practice, as Iverson would say. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome to see. And Underwood's been good. I think he's been soaking this thing in. And that was one of the ones I sent you, Kev, was like him talking what it was like to go back and watch his team's first game.
You want to start there?
Oh, good. Yeah. This is Brad Underwood. Go ahead. Set it up.
No, this is Brad Underwood talking about the rematch that will be had because they played earlier in the season. Here's Brad Underwood talking about that.
Ritual that is, I get up every morning really early, and it's my quiet, a good cup of coffee, and I watch a lot of film, and I've got no distractions. And this morning I'm watching our first game, and I could ad nausea to that list of quiet coffee and film. I didn't even recognize our team. And, we were just getting Andrei Stojakovic back. We were just getting Tomislav back. I played Keaton 10 minutes, I think, or 12 minutes. I got mad at Merkovich and didn't play him. So it was, they beat us. They whipped us. They made shots. The positive is I didn't recognize our team. They played really well, and they are, they whipped us. So Yeah, I think we've improved and gotten better. At least I'm pretty sure we have.
So, since they are pretty much unrecognizable since that first meeting, does that spell a problem for UConn, or is UConn ready for this given what they did against Duke and everything?
I said this yesterday when you were doing your PA duties with Baylor women's tennis. How'd they do, by the way?
Came down to the last court, and they lost it to the Mormons. 4-3.
That would be BYU.
Yep. Two of the last two courts went to a third set, and it was real close. Yep.
Can I ask you, why in the world, knowing now what we know about Keaton Wagler, how would he play him like 10 to 12 minutes in a game? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, that's
if he's a freshman, he's working his way in. You know,
that's not how it works.
This has got to be before conference play. Underwood's still working his team, figuring it out. I get it.
No, I mean,
he even said he was upset with Mirkovic, kept him out. How do you keep Mirkovic out?
Peterson electing to sit out much of the season. This is freaking Keaton Wagler. I'm just trying to think what would have been happening at that point in the season that you would have had Wagler on the bench for 38 minutes. Like, nothing about that makes sense to me. So I am fascinated with coaches. I told you going to the Sweet 16, the collection of coaches. I mean, when you tried to kind of like go, well, who's the worst coach of the 16? It was really hard to do. And you almost had to go on. I mean, it just wasn't fair because there were so many great ones. Like McCollum's still up and coming, but he's great. You know, Hoiberg's now done it at a couple of different places. I would say in the Sweet, and of course, Sean Miller, it was at Texas, but he's been to a ton of Sweet 16. The great Izzo. I think when we had to finally say who's the worst coach of the 16, I think it was almost like maybe Hoiberg or something.
I think so.
It was like, it was hard. And these two coaches are great. And I was going to look. I think watching these guys' path. I think, without looking this up, I'll look it up in a second. I think Brad Underwood was with Frank Martin somewhere. First of all, they kind of put off a similar vibe. Although I don't think Underwood's quite okay. So that he was with Frank Martin at Kansas State and then at South Carolina. Frank Martin went to South Carolina, and Baylor ran up against them in the Sweet 16 a few years ago when that was in New York City. Brad Underwood leaves Frank Martin. Let's see, Frank Martin flatlined at South Carolina after having a nice run. In fact, I think he got that South Carolina team to a Final Four. Well, he lost Brad. Brad goes from South. Think about that. Associate head coach of a Final Four team, and he takes the SFA job. And I think if I was looking at that back then, I would have been like, dude, you're already, in your 50s. Like, what? I think you would have been around that. What is he now? 60-something, 62? What's going on? Why are you? Late 40s, something like that. Anyway, goes to SFA. Then he takes the Oklahoma State job. And that's where they screwed up big time. That people don't remember this anymore, but that's it's Coach Iba. I mean, it's like they're so unbelievably famous for college basketball. And then they had great teams under Eddie Sutton, and they went to the Final Four. They had Big Country, and they had that team with John Lucas III. He played at Baylor, but then one of those other scandals happened at Baylor, which I'm trying to think which scandal that was. Well, I guess that was 2003. Was it? No. Wait, who played with Lawrence? Anyway, he ends up there. So, but all that to say, Underwood has had this interesting path. And I remember thinking, why is Oklahoma State letting this guy get away? But unfortunately, in the college basketball world, and I know, Kevin, you lean toward that Big Ten world. Illinois and the history of Illinois basketball with Lou Henson and all that, and even Bruce Weber had that Final Four team, is a bigger deal probably than Oklahoma State. It's hard for us to admit that in this part of the world because we've seen Oklahoma State when it's great at basketball. And so I didn't understand at the time. I'm like, oh man, why would you do that? And now we see, huge resources, huge NIL, and knows how to put a team together. Great coach.
It's a Big Ten world. Okay.
I gave you whatever. You don't have to rub it in. What else do you have for us, sir? Because we got to be quick.
So, yes, it is WNBA expansion draft day, but Gino Ariema talked about what pro basketball team is actually up in Connecticut area. Take a listen to this.
Said a couple nights ago when the Rockets honored the Houston Comets, Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, and Tia Thompson at halftime against the Knicks, that he feels bad for the Connecticut fan base. The Sun, they've been so supportive of the Sun, and that they're coming back to Houston, but at least they got UConn basketball. How does it feel to hear that from Kevin, being that you built this brand from your first 1991 Final Four?
Yeah, that is a heck of a compliment from KD, and it is unfortunate, that we were talking about. It's viewed upon as a mid-major. The Connecticut Sun are in a mid-major. They're a mid-major compared to Chicago, Houston, LA, New York. So it was just a matter of time, maybe, until that happened. And it's unfortunate because they had developed a tremendous fan base, and it wasn't, the UConn fan base all of a sudden became Connecticut Sun. They grew their own fan base. But I think that's one of the advantages that we have up in Connecticut, that UConn basketball, men's and women's, are pro franchises. So we don't have a WNBA team. We don't have an NBA team. We don't have a Major League Baseball team. We don't have an NFL team. We don't have an NHL team. We have UConn basketball.
So is he right? What do you think about all that? Quick thoughts, because I want to get your game picks for the Final Four before we head out.
It's just I've been floored by some of the numbers, like the fact that there's been at least one of the UConn teams at like every Final Four since like 2000.
Right. And this is the sixth time that both the men's and the women's have ended up in the Final Four.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously the women have done it more than the men, but the men don't only just get there, but they tend to win it. And whether it be Calhoun, Kevin Ollie, and now Dan Hurley as he goes for his third national title. I mean, I'll tell you, I pick I'm going to go ahead and go with UConn in this.
Illinois 1.5 point favorite.
The hangover is bothering me, like the hangover that I think UConn might have from that unbelievable shot, and just kind of like the elation, the feeling almost of like that was the championship in a sense to get there. I'm going back and forth on this. I reserve the right to change my mind, but for now, will stick with UConn winning this and obviously covering the 1.5 that you were just alluding to. Okay, the other game,
got Illinois. The other game, largely considered the national championship part 1, Michigan, Arizona. Michigan, a 1.5 point favorite.
Yeah, it's not even just part 1. I think you can just say people think this is for everything.
Right.
And I'm just floored by how good these coaches are. I wonder if this Tommy Lloyd UNC thing has been just a bit of a distraction. I mean, I don't think it really impacts the players. I think this will be funny because I think you and I are I think you're gonna go Big Ten on both these games, knowing you, and I'm gonna go. I'm not anti Big Ten, but I'm trying to take the other team. Give me the Big 12s. Give me Arizona, just because I love how the team is built, and I think they've. I don't know. I wouldn't say they have more weapons, but I just trust Arizona a little bit more. I love both coaches are unbelievable. I think in this spot, and you remember Michigan slipped a little bit at some point down the stretch, or a couple of wonky moments for them. We're a long way from that right now, but give me the Wildcats to win this one. And
I'm going to stick to my bracket. I picked Arizona as my champion, so I got to stay true to that. So
what'd you say Arizona, the line was on this one?
It's 1.5 Michigan, so 1.5 in both games. Real quick, the women's matchups, South Carolina or UConn. UConn 6.5 point favorite.
Give me UConn to win, UConn to cover.
Agreed. UCLA, Texas. Texas a 1.5 point favorite.
Texas to win, Texas to cover. All right. Good one. Good one.
So then before the week, so who's your champion for the women that'll happen on Easter
UConn.
Sunday?
Yeah, UConn. Yeah.
All right.
And Arizona wins it all. All right, then
the question, does the furniture place in Boston have to pay? Will UConn cover it? We'll find out on Monday.
Ooh. Lots of that. Well, UConn, yeah, I think UConn covers, UConn wins. All right, it is time he's there. He's always on time. We will talk to our own Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News, next.
If I had somebody that was looking for a car, I would definitely recommend Allen Samuels. The trust that I have, the care that they take, they genuinely want to take care of you. They really ask for your feedback when you go to the support department to make sure they're taking care of you in every way possible. So I really appreciate that they listen to your feedback.
Like Allen Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Allen Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
At Schmaltz Sandwich Shop, we don't just make sandwiches, we build them with fresh ingredients, bold flavors, and homemade baked bread every single day. Toasty on the outside, goodness on the inside. Schmaltz Sandwich Shop in Waco is locally owned and operated since 1975 with 2 locations in Waco, Town West off Valley Mills and downtown off 5th Street. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or just a craving, we got the perfect bite waiting for you.
This year, I made a New Year's resolution. I want every business to own a new copier from CTWP. Call me, Leroy the Copier Dog. Let's get you a copier delivered today. CTWP, your local copier company.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. And when it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. With the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip. No reputable company or government agency will ever ask you to pay them with gift cards, Bitcoin, or a person-to-person payment app. Scammers use these options because the money can't be traced. Just don't do it.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
The Riesel Fair is back and bigger than ever. Bring the whole family for a day packed with fun, from thrilling rides, delicious food, local vendors, and live music Friday night. Saturday music begins at 2 p.m. Admission is $5 for adults, 2 to 12 years, $3. 2 and under are free. Mark your calendar and join us for the Riesel Fair, May 7th through 9th. The Riesel Fair, where memories are waiting just for you.
Lake Waco Golf Club is a semi-private facility nestled along the north point of Lake Waco, one of the few facilities in Texas to have a full 18-hole regulation golf course as well as an executive 18-hole par 3 golf course. Plus, check out their bar and grill, which is open to the public. And if you're not a golfer, then enjoy time by the pool or even enjoy fishing around Lake Waco. Become a member today and call to book your tee time. Lake Waco Golf Club, where family and friends fun begins. Check them out at lakewacogc.com for more information.
Oh, I tell you who I'd like to get to Lake Waco Golf Club, where I do have a membership, and I would just put him right there, get him out on the course as my guest, maybe lounge by the pool afterwards. He's been doing some of that at the Biltmore, the world famous Biltmore there in Phoenix. He joins us now, Calvin Watkins of the Dallas Morning News. Calvin, welcome in to the Mosley Show, the YouTube version. How are you, sir? Are you rested from, it is hard work because you got to stake out. You got to do a bunch of interviews. You got to write your stories. It's not all fun and games, but the owners' meetings has always been, there's some of that feels kind of laid back, doesn't it? Did you enjoy your time?
I did. When I was in Phoenix, it reminded me of the time he took me to that TPC course when we were covering the Western Conference Finals with the Mavericks, and I lost like 20 balls, and I found the ball in the midst of some cactus, and I said, "I'm gonna play this," and you said, "Sure." You didn't care, and we were trying to get 9 holes in. That was, it was a beautiful time. It reminded me of us when we were on that TPC course. What was the name of that course? You remember?
TPC Scottsdale.
Yeah.
I don't think it was Greyhawk, but we it was probably about 120 degrees. We were having a very nice time, and I remember I think I was feeling too confident as a young journalist there at the Morning News, because I think I wrote about that in my column or whatever, and it was just, I think Bob Yates or whoever was in charge was probably like, okay, people don't need to know about your round of golf, That's a little much. And then, of course, the Mavs would go on to make that year the finals.
Yeah. And
then lose to Dwayne Wade and the Miami Heat and Bennett Salvatore, the official there that will live in infamy. Were you now, to me, it's always interesting. I was looking at that coaches picture of the NFL coaches, and all the new guys that come in, some of those guys, McCarthy's back in, Andy Reid's always there. Some of the faces never change. A lot of the faces do. Isn't it interesting, Calvin, when you get to a place where they're all gathered, and then you're like, oh my gosh, Tomlin's not here, and Harbaugh's the Giants coach. It's a strange thing, isn't it? Because in our brains, we get kind of used to a certain way, and then every once in a while, there's a huge sea change, and it's kind of and I bet at that media party or whatever, it's really a party, I guess, for everybody, the owners, the media gets invited to it, but I bet you got to see some really interesting and visit with a lot of people. Did you see any of our old friends that maybe like Coach McCarthy and others?
Yeah, I saw Mike McCarthy. He was holding court with some of the old beat guys from Dallas, and we were talking, and he goes, he's moved back to Pittsburgh, and I said, so I made a joke. I said, so you living at your parents' house now? And he goes, yeah, I am. So I start laughing. He goes, what's wrong with me living in my parents' basement? I mean, what's I'm employed. What's going on? And he's looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, why do you think that's so funny? And I just like, oh man, maybe I offended him. Then he starts laughing and he was messing with me. But no, it was good to catch up with him. And I had missed Aaron Glenn. He was there. I think you had covered Aaron Glenn when he was a corner with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And, but it was always fun to get coaches with their hair down a little bit, just shooting the bull. And Sean Payton was there, and I kind of missed speaking to him, but he's always cool. So it was a good time by all.
Sean gets a little shaky if I show up. We actually had a really good relationship, and then like some of my relationships, that time he almost took that Raiders job. You remember how they used to not let us do anonymous? At some point we realized, well, as long as we have a couple of sources or whatever, we kind of evolved, but they were in my ear at that point. No anonymous sources. And I was like, oh, and so he was off trying to get that Raiders job, and his ex-wife was who was his actual wife at the time, was telling me everything. And so in the morning news every day, it was like, according to Beth Watkins, to Peyton, Sean Payton's wife, Beth. And Sean got back from there, and oh my gosh, he ripped into me like you've never seen. Oh man. But yeah, those were the good old days, and those were the early days. Calvin, people don't remember this, but like you and I went through that weird phase of we were trained to have scoops. Save the scoops for the newspaper.
Yeah.
It's really a weird process to us around 2003, right in that 2003 to 2005 range, to try to get the mindset of, no, we don't really need to wait for the newspaper. We put the stuff up on, and now of course it's Twitter and all that other stuff. But isn't that weird how much has changed just in our careers? I mean, we're both still young men,
Yeah, I remember like we never knew what our competition had until the next morning. We got the paper.
Yeah.
That's how the industry was. And then the internet, we were afraid to put stories on the web because we didn't want our competition to see it. Then they would get it, and it's almost like a tie, right? Even though we had it first.
Correct.
And then it's evolved to, I remember I had something and I, text one of my editors, and he said, "Did you tweet it?" I go, "Not yet. I said, I'm telling you now. So just," and he's like, "No, tweet it. Because now a tweet is a report."
Yeah.
And so they want you to tweet it out, then they'll put the story out there. And so the industry has definitely evolved.
Yeah. Well, now the ESPN's taken over the NFL Network. I think soon, like Rappaport and all our people from our buddies from NFL Network will just show up on ESPN. I hope ESPN doesn't try to take over the morning news.
No, we've already been purchased by Hearst. So
that's right.
And Hearst owns, I think, 10% of ESPN.
Wow.
Or Disney. Yeah. So we're connected in some ways. We're all connected.
Yeah, you need to visit that Hearst Castle sometime out there, just kind of see how it all started. Yeah, out there outside of LA.
Close to San Francisco, but yeah, you could be right on it.
Closer to San Francisco, I think you're right. Okay. So it's kind of between. But anyway, what was your on the George Pickens front? Did anybody you talked to, any of those conversations with Shotty or with Jerry or Steven? Now, Steven kind of gave y'all the we're not talking about this. And of course, Jerry can't really help himself, right? He can say we're not talking about this, but then he's making jokes about the agent and all that. And I was thinking about this yesterday, Calvin. We know Jerry, and we know how much of a jokester he is. Sometimes he says stuff, and like the national media that may not be around him all the time, boy, takes that as like a big headline, like, whoa, he wants to negotiate with it. And I think we cringe because it brings all these flashbacks back to the Micah Parsons negotiation. Do you feel like, I mean, I know this is different because they got the franchise tag and all that they can put on Pickens. How do you, after talking to everybody out there and talking to all your sources, and you've got agents that you talk to and everything, how do you think this is going to go? I mean, like, he's probably not going to show up at some stuff. I don't really know about training camp. It seems kind of unlikely to me they're going to get a long-term deal done by that July 15th deadline. But how do you kind of see this playing out?
I don't believe the Cowboys are interested in giving him a long-term deal.
Okay.
Now, Jerry Jones says we want him here long-term. Brian Schottenheimer says he's got a bright future, but they haven't open contract talks with the man. So I'm like, if I want you here long-term, why not negotiate? I really believe in their eyes, they're looking at, hey, we traded for him last year and we had a career year out of him. That's the first year we had him. And then we're going to tag him the second year. If he has a fantastic year, maybe we give him a 2-year deal. Maybe we franchise tag him again, right? Which is, I think, 100% of his previous year's salary, right? Because this year, under the tag, I think we get $27.2 million. So you do 120% of that, then you can figure out the math. So in their minds, they have a chance to have him under team control for 2 more years, right, with the tags. And in their minds, this is a long-term deal. I think they won't give him a traditional 3-4 year contract like they did CD, like they did Dak, like they did Osa, Digizua, and other guys, DeRon Bland, those guys, because Pickens is a combustible figure, right? So to me, I think they're playing with fire because Pickens is not showing up to anything unless Dak and CD Lamb convince him otherwise. So I don't think the Cowboys want to give this kid $100 million in guaranteed money because they know he's a lemonhead at times.
Interesting. Yeah. But he
is,
but they want to at least create the public, like, hey, we're going to work toward this. But I see what you're saying. Their actions aren't really showing that. They're not really. And his agent, they kind of have this adversarial relationship with anyway. It's really interesting because on one hand, he holds the key in a way to them having a great offense, yet they just don't. Yeah, the long-term relationship doesn't seem to be something they're desperately looking to do. This is kind of a tricky one with Pickens. Now, before I wanted to talk to the defense. First of all, free agency, now that they still need to find a linebacker, and maybe that'll happen after the draft. I mean, the Pickens thing happened after the draft. Maybe there's a trade or something. And so I think we can't just think in terms of, okay, free agency's over, and you think they did great, did average, or did poorly. But knowing what they were saying about the whole bust the budget, and even Jerry kind of came out at the owners' meetings and said, well, we were aggressive. In a sense, Calvin, to me, I hear them almost wanting some credit for, well, we tried. We tried to go after Max. We wanted these linebackers, but oh, dang it, maybe these Georgia guys wanted to play together somewhere else. Do you like what they did? Like, is there part of you that says, okay, most of these moves sort of make sense to me, or did you come away from it kind of like underwhelmed of their free agency period?
I was kind of underwhelmed. With Sean Gary, they got in a trade, right, for Green Bay. They signed Jalen Thompson to a 3-year deal. He's going to be like their safety long-term. They traded Solomon Thomas to Tennessee. I was kind of underwhelmed, kind of like last year. Last year was, I forgot who they even signed in free agency last year because they signed a lot of guys, and then you get to the season, you go, these guys are terrible. The only move they made last year that was significant was trading for Pickens, and he panned out. I'm not sure if Rashawn Gary is going to pan out to be what they need at pass rusher, or Jalen Thompson is going to be what they need. They got, a couple of versatile pieces in the secondary. They still need an inside linebacker, which is what Brian Schottenheimer and the front office says they missed out on in free agency, so they might have to address that in the draft. And Jerry and Stephen Jones have said if we have a rookie middle linebacker, they're absolutely comfortable with it. So I think it was underwhelming, but the Cowboys always sell us on we're going to make these big moves in free agency, and I believe that the free agent pool was very weak this year. Yes, they tried to trade for Max Crosby, and that didn't work out with Baltimore. And then they sent him back. Obviously, I'm sure you've talked about that. Yeah. And the Cowboys are basically like, we're done with that. We're not trying to get back in that mix. They didn't like Trey Hendrickson, who was another free agent that eventually went to the Ravens after the deal with Crosby fell through. So I think it was a very underwhelming spring. They got some nice pieces, but nothing that I would just go on top of a mountain and be like, yay, we're back.
Yeah,
nothing like that.
Doesn't this strike you as one of the biggest drafts since we've both covered the team, and maybe even before, that year they got Tyron Smith around like 9. I think they got Micah at 12. I mean, I think we got in our minds, well, they got Zeke at number 4 overall in 2016, and those were big at the time, and I think you can always convince yourself this is the huge draft. But given what they gave up in Micah and what came back, and then this latest, it's you go to ever do something with Dak Prescott. Sort of hinges on the draft. As they close in on this thing, where do you start to lean? Because you're monitoring and going to some of these pro days and you're listening to everything. As we get closer, do you find yourself zeroing in on this is the position I really, really think they want at 12, and here's what they need to do at 20? But before you answer that, do you think this is kind of the most important Cowboys draft you've ever covered?
Not necessarily. Not really. I think based on what happened last year with the defense, how bad it was, they need ball players, right? And you can say that every year, but they really need ball players. And they've missed out on quite a few. Like I look back on the 2023 draft class, that first round pick was Mosley Smith, and he's no longer with the team. And the second round pick was Luke Schoolmaker, and he's just a guy. And DeMarion Overshown, as talented as he is, has been nicked up and has missed the majority of the games. Everybody else is basically gone, right? And I look at 2023. And 2024, you still got to wait. And this last year's class, you still got to wait. So, every year you can always say, well, is this going to be it? You need something every year. But one thing I will say is Jerry Jones mentioning this is not a year where you can redshirt somebody or draft injured players. Because that's one of the first times I've heard him acknowledge that. Because as you know, Matt, in the second round, they have always taken guys' chance on players. Guys are coming off injury or have trouble backgrounds. That's that second round. And Jerry's like, we're not doing that anymore. We got to get guys who can get on the field today and make contributions today. But they always say that, but I think more so this year based on how bad the defense was last year. So I can't really say this is the most important draft in a long, long time. No, they're all important, but they've missed out on players, right?
Yeah, I just guess because they have the 2 first-round picks, to me, that it becomes even more of a premium, and you've got more ammunition. Do you sense? We always talk about that you could trade up or trade down, and Jerry will have that news conference and he'll give us 5 different scenarios. Well, I can see us doing this. I have been reading some of our colleagues, that Cowboys could go up to 6, Cowboys could go up to 9, they could go up 1, move up 1. Does that kind of talk seem realistic to you? Do you think that's something the Cowboys might consider? Or as we get closer to draft day, are you more of the belief that they'll probably just stick right where they are and make a pick?
If you're at 12, right?
Yeah.
Let's just talk about the 12th pick. If you move up, say you move from 12 to 8 to get what you want. Say you want Sonny Styles from Ohio State. Say you want him, and you go, man, we're going to miss out on him. Let's move up. What are you giving up? So you flopping spots, and you might have to give up that 3rd round pick, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But now you got a bunch of 5s, 2 or 3 of, I think, are compensatory picks. So you can give up one of those 2 to move up. I can see them trading because they've done that in the past. They have the 20th pick overall. I can see that pick being used more so than the 12th pick to say, let's get an extra pick in the 2nd round. They don't have a pick in the 2nd round, but let's get a 2nd rounder and maybe another 3rd rounder because they got 1 pick on day 2. But I can see them trading, but recent history would suggest that outside of the Micah trade 6 years ago when they swapped with Philly because they couldn't get the corner they wanted, I would say that they're going to stand pat and get some ball players to help Christian Parker. And it wouldn't surprise me if they got another big-time offensive player, like a wide receiver, because there's no guarantees that Pickens will be here after 2026 neither.
Wow. Now, that's an interesting thought. You're saying a receiver, if they move down off that 20th pick, like a fairly early receiver?
Yeah, because they always pick the best player available. Right, that's their
mantra.
They do. Yeah, that's what they do, and that's what you're supposed to do. Especially if you have the best player available can fit something. You know what I'm saying? So, they need another corner, right? They don't have an elite corner, so I can see them doing corner as well. But their options are open, and I think that's a good thing.
Really, I was just thinking as you said that thing about the receiver, Pickens should hold out and you're like, well, my gosh, he's going to miss all that money and stuff. But the Cowboys lose holdouts. Mm-hmm. Like, when's the last holdout, like where the player caved? It doesn't happen. I mean, Zeke had him over a barrel and he flexed and he got him. He got him in a big way. Dak elected not to do that, not to do a holdout. But Steven once said to me, he's like, if you're going to hold out, you better be, a special player. And now when I look back at it, I mean, like CD, they didn't break CD. He didn't, it's not like that. It's not like holding out. I mean, it only helped him, right? I mean, I don't know. But Pickens is with the franchise tag. It's a different. You gotta have a stomach. You gotta have huge, because the only thing they can address once that deadline goes, people forget this, is that 1 year, right? Because of after July 15, they could take a look at this 1 year deal and do like they did for Hendrickson and give him some more money for one season, but they can't go in there and give him a long-term deal. So. Yeah. As I say that, he probably can't. He probably really shouldn't and can't do too much of a holdout here.
I would say CeeDee Lamb did a holdout. Micah did a hold in, right? Dak did not. Zach Martin did a holdout.
Yeah.
So I would agree with you. When players hold out, they usually win.
Yeah.
Except in Micah's case, he got traded. So I don't know if you can, he asked for a trade. So I don't know if that is a win, but maybe it is on his end. The Cowboys think it's a win because they got some draft picks out of it. But then Michael ends up tearing his knee up, and so it's your perspective.
It's really the first time we've seen Jerry just just get mad at a player. And I know there are other reasons and all that. And then you could say, well, there were some things, maybe he wasn't a good teammate. There's some stuff DeMarcus Lawrence has said that makes you kind of think about some things. But they had an elite. He was the best at what he did. I mean, Garrett's out there. I want to give him full as well. But I mean, Mike was right up there, right? It's 1A, 1B with those guys. It's one of the first times Jerry's ever just totally so to your point, the hold-in ended up maybe eventually from a money standpoint, it helped Micah, but it effectively ended his career with the Cowboys. And I think if he had have been just away from the team, he probably would have had a better shot of the healing taking place than the showing up and the sulking and the trainer table and all the things that continued to kind of make the Cowboys folks mad. Calvin, I tell you, what a good Friday it's been. I started to tell you, Calvin, just let's, take Good Friday off. Not that you report to me in any way. I mean, I've always wanted that in life, but it's never happened. No, but Calvin, I really appreciate it. I love having you on. I love visiting with you. And just know, by the time I put this on every platform, thousands upon thousands of downloads, sir, we'll see Mosley and Watkins together again. Always love having you. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you. I might go to the driving range to think of you today.
Think of me out there. I hope you have a happy Easter. Go Bellarmine. Who's your Final Four? Who's your pick to win it all?
I had picked Duke.
Oh man. Okay.
So now I like Arizona.
Okay. So this would be the first coach to win a national championship and then go take another job somewhere. Be like Jimmy Johnson, right? And just go. He'll be at UNC. It's funny what crazy stuff can happen in this in the NIL world. Calvin, all my best. Have a happy Easter, and I will see you soon. Okay.
Take care, Matt. You're the best.
There he goes, my good pal, and long time. We were at the morning news, and then we were elsewhere together, and we've bounced around all over the place. But tremendous friend over the years, and we have had some great times together. As Calvin Watkins joins us on the Matt Mosley Show, the special Good Friday edition. And we're pleased. Kevin has helped me out with this. We just kind of wanted to give you a special show. I think, Kevin, probably the world would not have ended if we just decided on our own to take today off. But I don't think anybody ever reached out to us.
No, I don't think the show, like if the show died, you know what? It would rise again because it's Easter weekend.
We've got resurrection jokes. We started out with a graphic. Don't put that up there again.
I got it for days.
I know. I was trying to, but boy, hey, however you celebrate. And if by the way, if Sunday's the only time you darken the door of a church, that's okay. That's okay. At least you're getting in there once a year. And who knows?
And if you don't go, guess what? Churches do it every single Sunday.
Yeah,
just go the next Sunday.
And I think there's probably a way to get to heaven without having to be in there once a year or even every Sunday. There's some ways I could share with you. All right, and that's one of the unbelievable things about what our Lord again, the unbelievable sacrifice, what we're thinking about today, and then of course what we think about Sunday. And we'll put on our Sunday best, and we'll get out there and we'll have a big time. All right, and then of course Monday we'll have a national championship. Easter Sunday we'll have the women playing for the national title tonight. We got all those matchups. It's going to be great. And Kevin picked UConn and Arizona. I did the same. All right. I kind of want to pick the Horns. All right. Kind of want to do it because I'm telling you that Booker, Madison Booker. Whoa. Okay. So here's the true skinny. Yes, we're doing an abbreviated Good Friday show. Yes, I am going to race out now to go to opening day with the Rangers. The boys are back. There it is. Who do they have on the front there? Is that Langford? Is that Wyatt Langford? That's Josh over there, I think, getting an infield. And then that's Seager. Seager standing up there. But the only thing inaccurate about that photo, Kev, is you won't see any clouds today. Roof shut. The roof is shut. Roof closed. Good one. I like it. Kev, good work by you. Happy Easter to you and your lovely family. I mean, that's a lot of kids to get dressed up. Hope you have
a lot of deviled eggs.
Lots of sport coats. Hope y'all have I think you still have a couple of youngsters that might be involved in an Easter egg hunt. So, get all that going and give everybody my best, Liam and the whole gang. All right. It is Mosley. It is Kevin Hoosier Hall wishing you a happy Easter. We will see you Monday at 1:00 right here on this channel.
As part of Central National Bank's partnership with Baylor Women's Basketball, we ask Coach Collin to take a shot at improving the efficiency of our drive-thru.
The lane is open! Drive the lane! Attack the lane! Go! 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 Go!
We have a few kinks to work out.
Is this what you had in mind when you invited her?
No. I think you should say something to her.
Me?
Let's make Craig do it.
Okay, yeah.
You're gonna take this canister and you're gonna shoot it up.
Be all right. Be all right. Just be confident. Hey, Coach. Can I have a word with you?
Craig, not right now! I'm with a customer.
Okay.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
This year, I made a New Year's resolution. I want every business to own a new copier from CTWP. Call me, Leroy the Copier Dog. Let's get you a copier delivered today. CTWP, your local copier company.
Lake Waco Golf Club is a semi-private facility nestled along the north point of Lake Waco, one of the few facilities in Texas to have a full 18-hole regulation golf course as well as an executive 18-hole par 3 golf course. Plus, check out their bar and grill, which is open to the public. And if you're not a golfer, then enjoy time by the pool or even enjoy fishing around Lake Waco. Become a member today and call to book your tee time. Lake Waco Golf Club, where family and friends fun begins. Check them out at lakewacogc.com for more information.
The Riesel Fair is back and bigger than ever. Bring the whole family for a day packed with fun, from thrilling rides, delicious food, local vendors, and live music Friday night. Saturday music begins at 2 p.m. Admission is $5 for adults, 2 to 12 years $3, 2 and under are free. Mark your calendar and join us for the Riesel Fair, May 7th through 9th. The Riesel Fair, where memories are waiting just for you. At Schmaltz Sandwich Shop, we don't just make sandwiches, we build them with fresh ingredients, bold flavors, and homemade baked bread every single day. Toasty on the outside, goodness on the inside. Schmaltz Sandwich Shop in Waco is locally owned and operated since 1975 with 2 locations in Waco, Town West off Valley Mills and downtown off 5th Street. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or just a craving, we got the perfect bite waiting for you.